right. Is everyone here? All right, I am calling the meeting to order. Would everyone please stand? Councilmember Conley, would you please lead us in the prayer? Excuse me, Councilman Rayner, would you please lead us in the prayer? I did. Well, he's still on my mind because of everything that happened down there.
Now we need a prayer.
Let us bow our heads and remember that we are in the presence of the Lord.
It should be.
Lord, in this holy season of prayer and song and laughter, we praise you for the great wonders you have sent us, for Shining Star and Angel's Song, for Infant's Cry in Lonely Manger. We praise you for the Word made flesh in a little child. We behold his glory and are bathed in his radiance. Be with us as we sing the ironies of Christmas, the incomprehensible comprehended, the poetry made hard fact, the helpless babe who cracks the world asunder. We kneel before you, shepherds, innkeepers, wise men. Help us to rise bigger than we are. As it is written in Scripture in Luke 2:10 through 14, the angel said to them, "Do not be afraid, for behold, I proclaim to you good news of great joy that will be with you for all the people. For today in the city of David, a Savior has been born for you, who is Messiah and Lord. And this will be a sign for you. You will find an infant wrapped in swaddling clothes and lying in a manger." And suddenly there was a multitude of heavenly hosts with angels praising God and saying, "Glory to God in the highest, and on peace to those whom his favor rests." In peace and love of Christ, and with joy of the Christmas season, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Councilman Conley, we'll make it up to you. Would you please lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Chairman, you have a quorum this evening. In accordance with Council Resolution number B14550, please be advised that all cellular telephones, pagers, beepers, and other devices of this nature must be deactivated or silenced throughout the council meeting. Madam Chairman, this evening we received a request to amend the agenda to add an item this evening, item 13D to the agenda. If I can get a motion and a second to add item 13D.
Motion by Councilman Conley, seconded by Councilwoman DeFrancis to suspend the council rules. All members, please vote. Lock in your votes.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0.
Motion by Councilmember Conley, seconded by Councilwoman DeFrancis, to amend the agenda to include item 13D. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to object? Please come forward at this time. Seeing no one, members, would you please vote? Lock in the votes.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0 to add item 13D to the agenda. Madam Chairman, we've also received a request this evening to add item 13E to the agenda.
Motion by Councilmember Conley, seconded by Councilwoman DeFrancis to suspend the council rule. All members, please vote. Lock in the votes.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0.
Motion by Councilmember Conley, seconded by Councilwoman DeFrancis to amend the agenda to include item 13E. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to object at this time? Please come forward. Seeing no one, all council members, please vote. Lock in the votes.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0.
Thank you, Council
This
Clerk.
afternoon, we will go back to the consent agenda. Just one second. Under the consent agenda this evening, we have item 1, approval of minutes, the regular council meeting of December 4th, 2013. Item 2 is approval of alcoholic beverage permit applications. We have none. Item 3 is approval of bingo and public gathering applications. Item 3A is application number 1856, 2015/14, the Rotary Club of Kenner to hold a public gathering on January 10, 2015, from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. to hold a Lake Town Run/Walk in Lake Town in Kenner, Louisiana. Item 3B is application number 1857/14, the City of Kenner to hold a public gathering on January 19, 2015, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. to hold a Martin Luther King Parade at the A.P. Clay Center in Kenner, Louisiana. Item 3C is application number 1858/14, St. Elizabeth Ann Seton School to hold a public gathering on February 13, 2015, from 1:15 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. for the purpose of a Mardi Gras parade for pre-K and kindergarten students at 4119 St. Elizabeth Drive in Kenner, Louisiana. Item 3D is application number 1859/14, Jimmy Buckle to hold a public gathering on December 31st, 2014, from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. for the purpose of a block party for New Year's Eve at 4417 Lake Trail Drive in Kenner, Louisiana. Members of the council, that concludes your consent agenda this evening. If you could, please, motion by Councilmember Conley, second by Councilmember DeFranchis.
Would everyone please vote? Lock in the votes.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Under the public appearance agenda this evening, we have item 9, public hearings for final passage. Item 9A is a public hearing regarding a resolution calling a public hearing on December 4, 2014, for the purpose of discussing the removal of a member of the Planning and Zoning Commission in accordance with Section 1E of the City of Kenner Planning Commission Rules and Procedures. Madam Chairman, I've received a request to remove this item from the agenda this evening.
Moved by Councilman Segura, seconded by Councilman Klein, to remove this item from the agenda. Is there anyone wishing to speak on the motion? Seeing no one, council members, please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0 to remove this item. Item 9B is a public hearing regarding summary ordinance number 11,801, an ordinance amending ordinance number 9836, adopted on January 8, 2009, by approving the expansion of the convenience store and increase in signage of the racetrack fuel station located on Lot 404Y, Old Kenner subdivision in Kenner, Louisiana.
Moved by Councilman Carroll, seconded by Councilman Reno, to open a public hearing. Council members, please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0 to open your public hearing. And
We
I
are
believe
now
the
in a
Planning
public hearing.
Department- I believe that the Planning Department has,
Yeah, I was just going to acknowledge him. Thank you, Council Clerk. We're now in a public hearing. Anyone in the audience wishing to address the council may speak after the presentation by our Planning Director, Mr. J. Abear.
Thank you, Madam President. The property contains a racetrack fuel station located at 2101 Airline Drive. It's at the southeast corner of Williams Boulevard, located in Council District 1. The property is currently governed by Special Ordinance 9836, adopted by the City Council in 2009, which approved the new construction of the racetrack development site as a planned unit development. Racetrack is proposing to remodel the interior of the building in order to bring up the building to Racetrack's latest architectural standards. And in doing so, the building will be expanded approximately 660 square feet by moving out the front wall an estimated 8 feet. The exterior of the new front facade will match the existing material and the appearance with the exception of the existing facades, with the exception of the new addition of the stone columns located at the main entrance to the building. The expansion will not trigger additional landscaping nor off-street parking, nor will it impact the interior drive aisle. Racetrack's also replacing its current building signs with new signage. This would include one 41-square-foot racetrack sign located above the main entrance of the store, two 28-square-foot secondary signs, one located along the front facade, the second along the west building facade, and two 60-square-foot marketing cases located on the front facade as well. The new building signage will be an increase of 180 square feet over the existing signage. The Planning Commission had recommended approval. They contend that the building expansion is necessary for the interior upgrades and the services provided by Racetrack, and that due to the building being set back 160 feet from the front property line along Airline Drive, that the increase in signage along the building would not have a negative impact along that portion of the Airline Drive corridor.
Thank you, Mr. Aber, for your presentation. Is there anyone in the audience now who wishes to speak? Please come to the microphone at this time. Sir, would you please give your name and address?
My name is Alan Bell.
You can lift it a little higher, sir.
Yep.
There you go.
My name's Alan Bell. I'm with Racetrack Petroleum, 3225 Cumberland Boulevard, Atlanta, Georgia, 30339. And we have and thanks for taking time to hear us tonight. We have a brief presentation to kind of show you some other shots of what we're looking to do. I had the opportunity to meet with Councilman Carroll on site today and kind of look through and kind of show him the areas where we're planning to bump out. And I don't know if you have a presentation.
Trying to get it.
Thank you. So the existing store was built and opened just over 4 years ago, and we're excited to be part of the remodel program. We're going back in to our existing stores that were built within the last 4 or 5 years and upgrade them to bring them up to speed with some of the stores that we have built in the last couple years. In the last couple of years, we've added some new architectural features as well as some new offers in the store. And so the proposed expansion would add roughly 660 square feet. And during the Planning Commission hearing about a month ago, there was concern from the neighbors, but once we told them that the expansion is strictly out the front on existing impervious area, we're not getting any close to the neighborhood, they seem to be okay with that. And if we, this is a picture of the store today, and the next one. This is the site plan, showing the location, and then the next slide will show you the elevations that we're proposing. So what we're looking to do is bump out the front left side, 6 or 7 feet, and that'll be the indoor seating area where we'll provide free Wi-Fi and a place to sit down. The front tower and the two side towers are going to be dressed up, and we're going to add some stacked stone as an architectural feature. And then the right side will bump out just a couple of feet, and that'll allow us room for a new coffee brew area that we'll show in an upcoming slide. And here's a 3D rendering of what the site will look like. You can see it kind of dresses it up and bumps out in the stacked stone accents. And then go to the next slide, please. Okay, so here's a picture of where on the front left of the tower, this is where we would add indoor seating. The brick wall that you see to your right is the existing front wall today, so we'd be bumping that out and adding that indoor seating. And like I said, there'll be outlets and Wi-Fi and tables for the guests. The next slide, if you look at the top left picture on your screen, this is where the existing coffee is today. It's up against the wall, so the employees are changing the coffee out while the guests are trying to get it. But the expansion will allow us to bring in this brew behind coffee bar that you see on the lower right picture, and that way the employees can brew the coffee and they can just set fresh coffee pots out to the front. And that way there's not a conflict with the employees and the guests trying to get the coffee. And it'll bring us, up to about 10 different flavors of coffee that we'll be able to offer. This slide shows the new design, the new curved millwork in the front. This is the roller grills that are there. We'll still have the same offers, but we'll have an additional topping bar to go in just to see how we're dressing up the inside. And this is one that's everybody's favorite. Swirl World it's not a separate company. It's still under Racetrack, but it's a private label self-serve yogurt. So part of the remodel would be a self-serve yogurt station, a topping bar with over 40 fresh toppings. And then when we start talking about the signage, so the Racetrack parallelogram that you see above the door, that's what we're moving towards is kind of the corporate logo, and we're looking for consistency in branding. It's only a few square feet different than what's out there today, but we're looking to change that out to what's recognized as our corporate logo. It's the same logo you'll notice if you pull up the Racetrack website or anywhere else. The two Swirl Worlds on the front tower, the reason behind these are we're bringing in the yogurt, and there's roughly 100 of this same building type, throughout. And after the remodel, we want to be able to differentiate to the guests which ones will have the yogurt and which ones will not. They're not in the city of Kenner, but within Jefferson Parish, we've got two. One that's going to open early 2015, and one opened about a year ago, and they already have this Floral World and the same signage that we're proposing today, but they're in the new footprint, and this will allow us to bring everything that they have within the, with the existing store. So, and then we may have to flip back to the other one, the marketing cases, which is kind of a big one that's shown on like an elevation a few slides before. To the, maybe, let's see, one more? Okay, one more up, sorry. It's the one with the building. Okay, you can kind of see them to the right of the door. So that area right there is the coffee brew area. And ideally, we would like to have windows, but those marketing cases, they're really neat. If you imagine a movie theater with the movie posters on the wall, these are actually built into the wall, so they're flush with the wall, and then there's graphics in there. And we would like to have, windows there, but we can't fit in the coffee area with them because you would actually be looking at the back of the coffee equipment. So the architects that we're working with, they've designed this concept, and it's been, well received, in other places. And then going back to the slide that we are, sorry about that. We had kind of mentioned before that the signage that we're adding, we'd like to, for the reinvestment that we're putting in the store, we'd like to be able to advertise our new offers. And also, we're not looking to flood, Airline with any more signage out the road. All the signage that we're proposing is on the building, and it's really to inform guests that are already on site, not to grab anybody's attention that's out driving down the road. And I'm here to answer any and all questions that you may have.
If you would please wait in case later on some of our council members have a question. Is there anyone else in the audience who wishes to address the council? Seeing no one else, council members, Councilmember Carroll moves to close public hearing, seconded by Councilman Reyno. Would everyone please vote?
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0.
Motion by Councilmember Carroll, seconded by Councilmember Reyno. Councilman Carroll, you now have the floor. You should have a mic on. I gave you a mic. Did you?
Put your light on, Councilman Carroll.
He had his light. It disappeared. I had him on.
Your mic's on now.
Next to
it's
Tony.
back.
Would
It's
you
there.
put it on one more time, sir?
It's on now. Thank you,
now
Madam President. I'd like to first thank Mr. Bell and Mr. Carasi for meeting me out there today. Not only meeting me today, but also meeting with the neighborhood, the residents that live there now, to quell any concerns that they had. When you hear the word renovations, every neighborhood begin to wonder what's going to happen, how long it's going to take, how will it affect them. And it was great that they were able to meet with the neighborhood to let them know that all of their reconstruction, all of the renovations will be on their property, expanding north, and it will not disrupt any traffic or cause any major concerns. And thanks a lot for that. Also, this is one of those projects that, like you said, it started 4 or 5 years ago when I first came onto the council. This is one of those things that I had very little input on in the beginning. It was Mr. Hebert in the planning and Councilman Johnson, who now Judge Johnson, who carried all the water for this. It happened to come in fruition when I came onto the council. So it was one of those things I came into. I appreciate that, all the hard work from the planning department, from Judge Johnson, and all of the people who came before me. But it goes to show you that Racetrack, they're not set on their laurels. They are trying to improve. This is one of the newer buildings, and we are glad that they have not forgotten us, and they want to improve and keep everything up to speed. With the price of gas keep going down as it is, more and more people are able to buy gas now. So it makes sense that they're all being able to upgrade the facility. And I believe this is one of many more facilities. There's room to do other things, but for right now, we appreciate all of the work that the Racetrack has put into this. We look forward to possibly other locations in the city of Kenner, but specifically for this one right now, we look forward to the relationship and bringing a good product to the city of Kenner. And, before I close, I'd like to say that this corner was kind of barren 4 or 5 years ago, both sides. You guys came in, the landscaping, the fencing, everything, the lighting has been top-notch. Obviously, Ms. Vallow knew that we're right into the signing issue, all of us concerned. So when you talk about signing, that's what something we wanted to see. All of the signing that they will have, it will only increase a little bit. It's already there, but they're going to stick to their logo, which they should. It's part of their marketing, what they have to do. Nothing is new. Everything will be replacing to make them up to speed, up to code for their marketing for their company. So nothing new, I did have a couple of questions, Mr. Bell. As far as when will you start the construction for this addition?
Well, we can't say exactly when, but if approved tonight, then we can kick off our architects to develop the plans. Once we do that, we'll submit to the city through the permit process, then we'll have to bid out a contractor. So earliest would be, first or second quarter of 2015. It's just how long the permitting and the process to select a general contractor will take.
Okay, and once it start, considering everything with the weather and all, how long do you envision the renovations to take place?
So if most of the work is on the inside, so which is good as far as the weather goes. And if we try to keep to, a 30 to 35 day schedule, and then give them some little flex because it is construction and anything can happen, and then maybe a couple days before and after to shut down to reconnect, all the connections and get everything back up and running. We'd like to target 35 to 45 days to be in and out. I mean, we want to be in and out just as quick as you want us out. We don't want to be an inconvenience to the guest, and we do have, two different options as far as temporary plans, whether it be an interior temp space or maybe even potentially a mobile kiosk so that we can keep the fuel cells open during the remodel since it is all, primarily interior. So that way that, we can still serve the city.
Well, that sounds fantastic. And again, thanks again for the coming to the city of Kenner. Godspeed with your project, and I look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilman Carroll. Councilman Pistato, you now have the floor.
Yes. What are the hours for the yogurt bar? Will it be open 24 hours a day?
It absolutely will.
Excellent, I'm done.
Seeing no one else wishing to speak, council members, please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0.
Thank you all very much.
You're welcome.
Item 10 is opening of bids. We have none. Item 11 is reclassification of zoning. We have none. Item 12 is other ordinances for final passage. We have none. Item 13 is resolutions and motions by council members. Item 13A is a resolution temporarily suspending Council Rule Number 11 of the Rules of Organization, Business, Order, and Procedure of the Council of the City of Kenner and rescheduling the Kenner City Council agenda deadline to January 16, 2015 at noon for the council meeting of January 22nd, 2015.
Moved by Councilmember Conley, seconded by Councilmember Impastato. Seeing no one wishing to speak, council members, please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 13B is a resolution calling a public hearing to be held by the council for the city of Kenner to determine whether the structures located at 3009 Utah Street, Kenner, Louisiana, shall be abated by repair, rehabilitation, demolition, or removal.
Moved by Councilmember Segura, seconded by Councilmember Klein. Councilman Segura, would you like to speak? No? Seeing no one wishing to speak, Councilmembers? He didn't push his button. I have nothing. Oh, we checked. They told us it wasn't yours. I'm so sorry.
Which
I checked with,
Utah Street? That's not where.
I checked with Mr. Gonzalez and
This is-
his office, and they told me it was in District 2.
Yeah, I think
Can we have clarification, please? When I called the Public Works Department, they told me it was District 2. Is that incorrect, Mr. Gonzalez? We're on 13B, as in boy.
It's a code
Ms.
that
Vallow, can you give us some clarification on that, please?
Oh,
Well, I
31st.
called Public Works.
31st in Utah. Yeah. District 1. District 1. Yeah.
Thank you for that clarification. So, Council Clerk, if we could please change it to move by Councilman Carroll, seconded by Councilman Klein. And Mr. Gonzalez, the next time, I think we need to make sure, when we call the office, that they're sure of where the property is located. Sorry about that. That's okay. Mistakes happen. I should, but at the time, she wasn't there, so I called the Public Works Department. Thank you, though. Thank you, Ms. Vallow, for the clarification. Councilman Carroll, do you wish to speak?
No, not right.
Council members, please vote then.
Councilman, motion passes 7-0. Item 13C is a resolution committing $529,892.13 of local funding required to complete the Hanson City area lift stations and 10th and Maria Force Main projects, and requesting that the State Office of Community Development Disaster Recovery Unit approve Amendment Number 3 to the City of Kenner's Katrina/Rita and Gustav/Ike Long-Term Recovery Program grant application.
Moved by Councilman Carroll, seconded by Councilmember Sigur. Councilman Carroll, do you wish to speak? Seeing no one, council members, please vote.
Madam Chairman, we've received an amendment this evening, if I could, please.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll go ahead and do them in globo, but let me go ahead and read them out so we know what we're amending. In the caption, we're going to change the amount from $529,892.13 to $569,892.13. In the sixth whereas, we will change the amount from $2,136,382 to $2,176,382. Second amount will go from $529,892.13 to $569,892.13. The next whereas, the amount will also be changed to the new amount, which is $529,892.13. The first section, that amount will also be changed. If we could have a motion and a second to
Absolutely.
amend it in globo.
Moved by Councilmember Carroll, seconded by Councilmember Sigur on the amendment. Would everyone please vote?
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0 on the amendment.
Now, motion to pass the amended? Okay, great. Councilman Conley, you have the floor.
I'd just like to see if maybe Mr. Gonzalez can explain what this is. I know we're committing money, but is this for grant purposes or?
This is for a sewer project. It partially finances using sewer bond money. It finances the construction of the rehabilitation of 2 sewer lift stations and a force main. Council District 1 primarily.
Thank you.
Seeing no one else wishing to speak, council members, please vote. Moved by council member again. Let me refresh everyone's memory. Councilman Carroll, seconded by Councilmember Sigur on the original motion as amended.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 13D is a resolution appointing council member to be determined to serve as council president effective January 1st, 2015.
Moved by Councilmember Conley, seconded by Councilmember Klein. Council members, please vote. Unless I have no one pushing. Oh, you finally.
If I could-
Sorry, you finally did. Okay. Councilmember Conley, you have the floor.
At this point, I'd like to recommend Councilman Reno for the president's position.
Do we have a second, please? Councilmember Klein, seconded by Councilmember Klein. Council members, please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Congratulations, Councilman Ray.
Congratulations.
Item 13E is a resolution appointing council member to be determined to serve as council vice president effective January 1st,
Yeah.
2015.
Moved by Councilmember Impastada, seconded by Councilmember Reno. Councilman Reno, would you like the floor?
Thank
Here
you.
it is.
Thank you. I'd like to recommend Councilman Keith Conley.
Councilmember Impastada, seconded by Councilmember Impastada. Moved by Councilman Reno, seconded by Councilmember Impastada. Council members, please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Congratulations. Item 14 is items removed from the consent agenda. We have none. Item 15 is acceptance of contracts and similar matters approved by the mayor. Item 15A is summary ordinance number 11,801. An ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Bayou Tree Service Incorporated for an annual contract to furnish, install, maintain, and water trees on an as-needed basis in accordance with seal bid number 14-6245 and an amount not to exceed $25,000 per year for the Department of Public Works.
Moved by Councilmember Reno, seconded by Councilmember Conley. Seeing no one wishing to speak, council members, please vote.
One more. Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 15B is summary ordinance number 11,802. An ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from CRO and Associates Incorporated, doing business as Crow Slit Turf Services, for an annual contract to provide ditch spraying in accordance with letter bid number 14-1528 and an amount not to exceed $10,000 per year for the Department of Public Works.
Moved by Councilmember Impastato, seconded by Councilwoman DeFrancis. Seeing no one wishing to speak, council members, please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 15C, summary ordinance number 11,803. An ordinance accepting the responsive bid received from Gator Masonry LLC in the amount of $7,300 to furnish and install a CMU block wall for the backstop at Mus Bertolino Playground in accordance with telephone bid number T14-2247 for the Department of Parks and Recreation.
Moved by Councilmember Klein, seconded by Councilwoman DeFrancis. Councilman Klein, did you wish to speak? Seeing no one wishing to speak, council members, please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 15D is summary ordinance number 11,804, an ordinance approving the purchase of 15-year license for the film One World, One Sky in the amount of $5,007 from Loch Ness Productions in accordance with telephone bid number T14-2248 for the Kenner Planetarium and Megadome Cinema.
Moved by Councilmember Carroll, seconded by Councilmember Segur. Council members, please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 15E is a resolution approving change order number 1, final to the contract with Subterranean Construction LLC dated April 9, 2014, regarding the construction of drainage improvements to University City and Audubon Place subdivision areas, Phase 1, Hooper, Galan, and Majority Drives, and Millsaps and Tulane intersection outlet. State project number H.010107, City of Kenner project number 2012-001DR, which increases the contract amount by $29,999.81 and accepting the project as complete for the Department of Public Works.
Moved by Councilmember Impastato, seconded by Councilmember Klein. Councilmember Impastato, do you wish to speak? Seeing no one, council members, please vote. Lock in the votes.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 16 is ordinances and resolutions in summary for first reading. Item 16A is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Richard Reams Trophy Company LLC to furnish sports awards as needed in accordance with letter bid number 14-1530 and an amount not to exceed $16,000 per year for the Department of Parks and Recreation. Item 16B is an ordinance approving the purchase and installation of a wireless magnetometer detection system at the intersection of Joe Yenny Boulevard and Salentini Parkway in the amount of $8,402 from Temple Incorporated, a sole source supplier for the Department of Public Works. Item 16C is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Jack B. Harper Electrical LLC for an annual contract to provide vehicle detector inductive loop installation or replacement as needed in accordance with seal bid number 14-6246 and an amount not to exceed $70,000 per year for the Department of Public Works. Item 16D is an ordinance authorizing the purchase and installation of 2 automated license plate recognition systems in the amount of $26,174 utilizing State of Louisiana contract number 4091133 with Louisiana Tech LLC for the Kenner Police Department. Item 16E is an ordinance authorizing the utilization of state contract number 408849 for the purchase and installation of surveillance cameras and recording equipment for City Hall buildings A, B, C, and D from BITS Technical Company LLC in the amount of $40,777. Item 16F is an ordinance approving the utilization of Jefferson Parish contract number RP-290 with Motorola Solutions Incorporated for scheduled maintenance and repairs to various two-way radios, system backbone, interconnects, data equipment, and system software and hardware for the city's radio system and its associated parts, as well as for the purchase of items of equipment needed to repair, maintain, and improve said system on an as-needed basis in an amount not to exceed $90,000 per year for the Department of Information and Technology and Telecommunications. Item 16G is an ordinance amending the capital budget to budget grant funds awarded by the Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness in the amount of $278,456 to retrofit the Emergency Operations Center with roll-down shutters. Item 17 is reports from the council and our special committees.
We have none, except I would like council privilege for a minute to make a quick statement. Although the mayor didn't mention it earlier, I'm also a proud parent of Jesuit graduates. That's okay, Mayor, I understand. It was rather chaotic. We had so many people here. My twins also, Renee and Damien DeFrancis, graduated from Jesuit. They were in the class of 1998, and I am very proud of both my boys, and I want to tell you I'm proud that they're Jesuit graduate as well. I just wanted to mention that tonight to all of you. So thank you for all the council members putting up with me with my making that statement. I appreciate it. Is there anyone else who has something they would like to mention? Councilman Conley, you're next.
Tonight, we voted for a new council president. I just want to commend Councilwoman Franches for the last 6 months of work she's put in as council president, and thank her for her performance and her efforts.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Conley. I truly appreciate it. Thank you. Mayor Yenny, would you like the floor?
Yes, I do apologize. I did tell you I
No,
was going to
please.
say that, and I didn't, so that was my fault. But I did want to mention, everybody, we have had an unbelievable success with the Christmas Village in Rivertown this year, continuing since it's been moved over the past 4 years. Mr. Marcoli just informed me we've had larger crowds. We've had a lot of great groups. Ms. Newton is going to read some of the performances this weekend. Of course, we have an issue with the weather pending Friday night. We may have to, cautiously watch to see if we have to do a cancellation. But of course, this is the last weekend of the Christmas Village as far as performances and the vendors and the food people selling, the different things. But it'll still be open through the remainder of the holiday season, all the way, through New Year's, and then of course Public Works will be taking it down. But I want to commend the Recreation Department and of course the Public Works Department for decorating it. I mean, it really came out nice. I thank y'all for all coming to the opening ceremonies that we had. It was, that was the weakest night, and that was a pretty decent crowd, and it got thicker as the night went on. As I told everybody, I think instead of saying Merry Christmas, we should have said Mele Kalikimaka, because it was about 78 degrees, and I don't know why we got a Christmas tree when we should have planted a palm tree with lights on it. I felt like I was in one of those Corona commercials. But it was. But I thank y'all for y'all's support of that event, because it's becoming a bigger and bigger success, and I thank y'all that were able to attend. I know I saw Councilman Reno and Councilwoman DeFrances, and I think Keith popped in to the seniors luncheon that we had this past week. It was very well attended, and I always try to promote everything we do in Rivertown to them, because we certainly want them to take advantage of the free opportunities. Jefferson Parish has a great display, but it costs to get in. City Park in New Orleans has a great display, but it costs to get in. Here in Kenner, we try to do things for the citizens as best we can, and it is free, and you can walk around and enjoy the lights and the holiday season. So thank y'all for y'all's support. I know Mr. Gonzalez and his assistant Bill Dupleshare are working to get more lights for next year to make it even more festive as best and creatively as we can with the tight budget we have. But Christmas in Kenner is becoming a very good season. So thank you all very much.
And Mayor, I just want to again point out that it was the senior luncheon was so well attended. Our Recreation Department did a wonderful job putting it together, and our Police Department, they were absolutely great. They were serving everyone, and I think everyone there had a great time. And thank you for your support.
Absolutely. And I think
He had to
the
leave
chief had to
early.
leave. We couldn't do it without Connie Taormina. She keeps everything straight in the back,
Absolutely.
and Councilwoman DeFrances makes sure everybody gets a bigger portion than they're supposed to get. So that's the good news. But Ms. Newton's going to read the lineup just so everybody knows what's happening this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Friday, Blanchard CDA Dance Center and Cabrini High Schools, 5:30 to 6:30, 6:30 p.m. The Kenner Parks and Recreation Department Dance and Baton Team. 7 o'clock, the Dixie Darlings. 7:30, LaPlace Elementary Tigerettes. Saturday, December 20th, 6 p.m., Schneckenberger Dance. 7 p.m., Gotta Dance. And to close out the Christmas Village on Sunday, 7 o'clock, the Jefferson Parish Parks and Recreation Department Holiday Choir. There are several activities going on, including the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council Cookie Hut. I hope people will come out and support that. The proceeds do go to Kenner Recreation. There's other things going on throughout the city this weekend as well. Final performances at the Rivertown Theater for A Christmas Carol. On Sunday, there is, the Comedy Club is having a sing-along, Christmas sing-along. And Saturday, Rivertown Farmers Market. So we hope to see everyone out at those events this weekend.
And if you haven't noticed, take notice. I know in District 5, and this was at the behest of Ms. Hahn working this with Mr. Gonzalez, they put all the uplights on the oak trees, red and green, all the entrance signs. We have some red and green gels that they were able to finagle over the lights, so it looks really good, and everything's as festive as we can make it. You know, I always say we like to be able to go and decorate the entire streets like we used to, but we just don't have the manpower or those figurines that we used to hang up and down the streets many years ago. We haven't done that since before Katrina, and it's been very taxing. But if you go to South Kenner and Rivertown, you will experience what I call a 1950s version of how Christmas was. So it's really a great setting and a good feeling. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. And I was remiss in not mentioning something else. We need to thank Target as well. Last night, Target sponsored Shop with a Cop, and they had 28 children who are from underprivileged children, and each of the police officers had a child in tow. They went around the store to pick up toys. What the child could pick up any toy within a certain monetary amount, and I know many of the police officers added a little bit of their own. And Target supplied the funds to do that. So we need to thank Target and those police officers who gave of their time to help those children have a Merry Christmas. So I thought I needed to mention that as well. Councilman Pastada, you have the floor. I apologize for going on and on.
Yes, I was reminded by Mayor Yetti's statement about the Christmas Village. I'd be remiss if I didn't say thank you for the efforts of the administration for the District 5 Christmas celebration that was a few days after the opening of the Christmas Village. The annual District 5 Christmas celebration and toy giveaway, which was on December the 7th. This was my first year as the District 5 councilman, obviously, I'd just elected. First time I participated in it. I had heard about it for years, had been there. I never really understood until now, having worked it and helped put it together, the amount of work that the administration actually has done to put that event on. And I think I would be remiss if I did not thank, on behalf of the citizens in District 5, the work that Mayor Yenny, all of his staff, Parks and Recreation, Mark Glorioso, I mean, all the departments up and down, the police, and everyone that worked together to make sure this event was successful. And certainly, you know, we did a work out of our office, mostly Donna Shedler, the assistant for the District 5 office. But the most disappointing thing that I heard was in talking to the people who were there, who come every year, which over 600, we counted about 600 and I think 680 toys were given to children in need. So we did an excellent thing for people in the city of Kenner. But the disappointing thing is, most of those people did not really know how much work that the mayor's office and the administration does to make that happen. And that's a little disappointing. And so my vow is that that will not happen again. Certainly, it didn't happen this year, and we gave our thanks, and we're going to continue to do that because working together between the administration, our district office, made it a successful again. It's going to be even more successful. And I want to thank my fellow council members who also attended. Again, over 600 some odd toys given out to these kids. So that was a great event. Thank everybody for everything they did.
And Councilman, I want to thank you. That's the first time since I've been here, either as CAO or mayor, that a District 5 councilman has ever thanked the administration for that event. So thank you for doing that. And I certainly think we should all get together and take Christmas Carol lessons for those of us that show up and sing, because we need to do a better job next year, a much better job next year. And look, if Santa ever can't make it and Santa needs a fill-in, well, right there. You see? Okay.
We better be careful.
Item 18 is new business. We have none. Item 19 is unfinished business and motions to reconsider or remove from a tabled position. We have none. Item 20 is persons wishing to address the council on special subject matters.
Mr. Almarella, would you please come to the microphone and state your name and address?
Almarella, 4260 East Loyola Drive, 5th District, 42 years. I got an exhibit here I would like to submit to the council. The contents of this exhibit is a letter that was sent by concerned citizen Jack Ziwi to Councilman Mike Segura, and there's 6 copies of that letter for the rest of the council, along with some data relative to natural gas and natural gas pipelines off the website of Atmos Energy. I'd like to pass this out. I want the data back. You can have the copy of the letters. It's for you 6 council members. Now, I want to respond to some comments that was made in here at the December 4th council meeting. Based on that data, and Mr. Ziwi has 30 years expertise in this field, and he produced the data concerning this issue. And I'm going to direct this response to you, Councilman Segura, you, Councilman Reyno, since you chimed in on this issue, and Mike Quigley, who's not here. But I want to say this, your failure to understand the seriousness of this issue based on that data suggests to me you may not be fit to hold public office. Now, I want to direct these next, I'm talking, Mayor. When I'm done talking, then you can talk. But you don't talk when I got this podium, you understand? Now, I want to direct this to you, Councilman Impastato, and the 2 council people at large, okay? I want to tell you what needs to be done on that bridge. Number 1, they need to have barriers on all 4 corners. If a vehicle misjudges their turn, they're going straight off the edge of that bridge onto the top of that natural gas pipeline. Second, we need plackets, signage, plackets corresponding to the flammable, combustible natural gas and that pipeline there. Third, we need regular inspections of that pipeline. Now, anybody got any comments, any questions for me at this time? Councilwoman DeFrances, can he respond?
You have 44 seconds longer, Mr.
Well, I'll use that time right now to close.
Yes, sir.
In closing, I want to wish the people of Kenner, all our employees, including this administration and this council, are very blessed, Merry Christmas, and a happy and prosperous New Year. Now,
You have 21 seconds
well,
left.
you want to wait till I sit down
Yes,
before
sir.
they respond? Okay.
Yes, sir.
All
We
right,
have
thank
two-
you.
We have 2 council members who will be responding, sir.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Councilmember Conley, you have the floor first.
Oh, no.
No?
I have
All right, sir, your light went on
keep my
first. I will be happy to clear it, though. Councilman Impastato, you now have the floor first.
Here's the commitment that I think is the most appropriate thing to do under the circumstances, Mr. Morello, because this issue keeps coming back up for months at a time. It is going to be difficult for me to believe that anyone other than Atmos Energy, who is in the natural gas business, it is going to be difficult to convince me that anyone aside from them is going to be in a better position, a better expert position, have greater scientific and technical knowledge than Atmos Energy to handle that situation. You'd agree with that, wouldn't you? Okay, good. So the commitment we will make, and this is a promise I make to you and everyone in District 5, is that we will make sure Atmos Energy does anything and everything to ensure that that gas pipeline is taken care of. Now, candidly, that may involve them not doing anything different than they're doing right now. That may be. I'm going to go out on a limb and say I would bet Atmos Energy is in the business of making sure there are no natural gas dangers to anyone near their pipelines. And so we're going to make sure they hold to that commitment. But I don't want anyone to think that all of a sudden something major is going to be different out there. It may not be. But if it is, And if they feel like, if they've done the inspection and done the investigation and feel like everything that should be done has been done, then so be it. And I think we have to be willing to accept their expertise on that. Because look, I'm a lawyer by day and a councilman by night. I am not an engineer. I know less about natural gas than most. So I'm not going to get in and tell them this is how they should scientifically do their business. So I'm not, and so that's what we will do. I can assure you that all of the council members up here will agree to hold Atmos to their obligations, but we have to trust that they are in their business for a reason. And so that is my response.
Thank you, Councilmember Impostata. Councilman Segura, you have the floor.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Morrell, for bringing that correspondence. Yes, Mr. Ziwi had sent that to me, and I would like to just make a quick comment is a lot of it is not too much different than what you presented to us before. It's specific information to gas combustion, not to the specific information of the gas line crossing the canal. I agree with Councilman Impastato. We would now need to take this to another level to satisfy your concerns by bringing Atmos to here. I'm sure they'll be happy to come to the council meeting and explain why they have that line there, what precautions they take, what safety measures are in place, and what could happen if it was ruptured. And I venture to say it will, like Mr. Councilman Impostata said, it is a safe transmission of gas right there. And yeah, things can
Goes back to
happen.
Mr. Morrell.
We understand that.
Part. He wanted this.
We'll let them explain. It's their gas line. They put it there many years ago. I presume you were still living there when they put it there. So you didn't complain then, but we'll take your complaint now, and we'll see if we can get you a better answer. Thank you.
And thank you, Councilmember Segura. Is there anyone else wishing to speak? Okay, seeing no one. There are a couple odds and ends we have to take care of now. First of all, before we wish everyone a Merry Christmas, I want to also wish our Jewish members of the city of Kenner a Happy Hanukkah. It begins in the evening of December 16th and it goes through December 24th. So we wish them all a Happy Hanukkah. Now, we also want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And traditionally, as Councilman Conley pointed out to me, unfortunately, the members of the city of Kenner have to listen to this council wish them a Merry Christmas in in song, wearing hats. So we're going to not break that tradition tonight, and we will all don these wonderful hats. So that's everyone. If I have to do it, everyone else has to. Oh, sure, of course. Do we have everyone? Everyone's ready. Great. All right, go for it, Councilmember Conley. If I embarrass myself, everyone does. Here we go. And we want to wish, again, we want to wish everyone in the city of Kenner. I'm trying to keep a straight face here now. Come on. We want to wish all our employees a wonderful, wonderful, and wonderful Christmas and Happy New Year, the administration, our council members, the staff, everyone who works for the city of Kenner, and everyone who lives in the city of Kenner. All of us together make this city the wonderful place that it is, our police department, our fire department, and all the people that live in this wonderful city. So together, we're going to all stand up. We're not going to sit down. We're going to do this right. Everyone stand.
Why we gotta?
Let's go. Here we go. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. There you go. Yeah.
Let's get another one up.
All right. And my apologies to the Public Works Department. I'm sure I was the one who made the error rather than the Public Works Department. So having said that, yes. Motion to adjourn by Councilwoman DeFrancis, seconded by Councilmember Conley.
You can take your hat off now, sir. I think.
Do you know how embarrassing that is?
Why is my ball so big?
I won't tell you why.